Hi guys, welcome to the new video and welcome to the new series. So sorry that I've not been on YouTube for a while. I just need to put more time into it and actually prioritise pumping out some videos, because I do enjoy it when I do it. I enjoy the editing, I enjoy the filming, so I just need to put more time and effort into it. What I've sort of told myself I'm going to do, and what I really want to do, is a video per week. So I'll probably be uploading every Sunday night, because that seems to be a decent time to upload. And what it will be is it'll pretty much be like a summary of my week. So Sunday night also works well on that front. So I will go through sort of how I'm looking, my check-ins, things that I have implemented that week, things I'm going to implement going into the next week. I'll probably cover a session or two in each video, especially if I'm training with someone else. Potentially Q&As, things like that, going through my supplementation, loads of different topics from now up until I compete, which will be some point in sort of summertime next year, and then depending on how well I do towards this time next year, so sort of September, October time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to starting the series, and hopefully I can get a lot of people to follow me along and watch and enjoy the journey. If you do like the videos and you do start following the journey, then please like the videos. Actually, like the button with the button that's at the bottom, and please subscribe. That would mean a lot and really help me out. So yeah, I'm gonna go into the video and I hope you enjoy it. So, seeing as this sort of series is going to be going through basically like my standard day-to-day life, I thought I might as well make an actual list or routine and go through what my standard day is. Slight variances from training day to non-training day, but basically go through how I structure my day to make sure that I get everything done and sort of really remain as productive as I can be. So, here we go. Daily routine. I hope you can read it. First of all, wake up at 6. So I'm in a routine now. I get up at the same time every day. And basically the main reason for that is that I'm in a better sleep routine then. And it just helps me structure my day more. If I know I'm up at 6 and the day starts at 6, then you know I can get planning everything around that. And I'll weigh in. So I'll get up, go and weigh in. I'll go to the toilet, go weigh in. And then rehydrate. So that's like first thing on my checklist is to come upstairs, fill my water up, quick bit of Himalayan pink salt on the hand, chuck it in, and then get some water in so I'm rehydrated. And it just helps, you know, wakes me up and feel loads fresher. Next thing I do is meditation. So 6:10, I've currently started implementing some meditation. So I use the Headspace app. I definitely recommend it if people are struggling to sort of get into a routine and be a bit more productive. That's what I'm enjoying it for at the minute. That is what I'm really using it for, is to give me that something to do as soon as I'm up that is a productive task to get me sort of set up for the day. And then what I'll do is I'll plan the day ahead. So I have a notebook which I have Monday to Friday on, and I literally just write in on the day that it is all the tasks that I want to get done that day, and I'll list it in terms of priorities from 1 to 3. So I'll put a little number next to each task. 1 being highest priority, must get done today. 2 being I really should get that done today. 3 being if you don't get it done, doesn't matter, move it on to the next day if I can't get everything done. So that's how I plan my day ahead, and again I'd like to have lists and tick things off so that I'm again more productive. 6:30, so that'll take me about 20 minutes. 6:30 I'll be on WhatsApp, Instagram and text message replies. So generally it's clients, mates, family chat on WhatsApp, things like that, replying to that. 7 o'clock, by this time Shannon's up now, and I've started making breakfast. So 7 o'clock is meal 1, as well as my morning supplements, and then we'll watch YouTube in the morning as well while we're eating. 8 o'clock, so by the time Shannon's gone to work and I've finished my food and just chilled and been on my phone and watched YouTube, got ready for work, 8 is when I start my work. So 8 o'clock I start work, no matter whether I've got clients, one-to-one clients or online work, regardless, I make sure that I'm starting work at 8, so I've got that routine Otherwise I can just, you know, you could just be lazy and be a slob. Like, I need to have that routine of I start work at 8. So yeah, online or one-to-one work. Sometimes I'll have clients from 8, sometimes I won't have clients up until 10 AM. So within those first 2 hours I'll do check-ins. So it's all just dependent on sort of manipulating things around. If I have clients from 8 till 11, then my check-ins will be done later on before I go and train, or on the rest day I've got more time in the middle of the day, so I can maneuver things around. So 10 o'clock, it's time for meal 2. So that is a smoothie just for ease, because I'm always on working at that time. It's like during my morning shift of work. So what I like to do is I actually make that smoothie in the morning before I start at 8, so I can just grab it and get it down me, whether I'm with my clients one-to-one or I'm doing my online work. Definitely recommend that if you struggle with getting calories in, or struggle hitting your protein target, and you know, I don't have enough time to sit down and have meals. Smoothies, liquid calories, dead easy. 12 o'clock is when I finish my morning work, so I'll either finish with my online work or my one-to-one clients at 12. Obviously it's a little bit more strict when it's one-to-one. If it's online, I can be, you know, I can go over that. And then I'll get any small tasks that I've written in my book done. So little things like, you know, basics like taking the bins out or putting a wash on or something simple like that. 12:30, pre-workout meal time. So notice in red, we've got into the red and the green. I've got a key at the bottom. So there's a key at the bottom. Black basically is both. So what I do on a training day and a non-training day, regardless. Red is training day and green is non-training day. So in the red, you've got the pre-workout meal. So at 12:30, I'll have my pre-workout meal. Or on a non-training day, it'll be meal 3. So another meal, either way. Then 1 o'clock, I will be, if it's a training day, planning and visualizing my session. So I'll write in my logbook the session that I'm doing. I'll look at the numbers I got last time. I'll look at the numbers that I want to get this time. I'll also watch a video. So, you know, on my Instagram stories, I always put like pre-pull or whatever it is, and I'm sat there with my rice and watching like a JP video or something on online that's going to motivate me and kind of get me psyched up. Or if it's a non-training day, I'll probably be doing content creation. So something like this, or just on Instagram, maybe making some posts to get ready for Instagram, or editing a video or something like that. 2 o'clock. So by the time it gets around to 2 o'clock, it's time to train. So I'll be training on a training day, obviously. On a non-training day, it'll be time to either do my cardio work. So I have, on a non-training day, I have 35 minutes of cardio, which is at 140 to 160 beats per minute. So I've got that to do, or I'll go on a walk. I can get my hair done, sunbed, basic things like that that I don't get a chance to do on a training day because I don't have as much time. And then by 4:30 on a training day, I'll have finished by then, so it'll be time to have my post-workout meal. So generally I train for 2 to 3 hours. So this kind of 2 o'clock time will vary. If I know it's a longer session and I've got, you know, a client at 5, I'll train a bit earlier and sort of cram things in a bit sooner. If I've not got a client till 6 in the evening and I know I've got a bit more time, then maybe I'll train a little bit later and give myself a bit more time to, you know, make sure that I've digested the meal and that kind of thing. But generally post-workout will be, you know, 4:30 till 5 o'clock kind of time. Also, if it's a non-training, that will just be time for meal 4. 5 o'clock, so I start my sort of evening shift of work. So when a normal person's day would be like 9 till 5, mine is like 8 till 12 and then 5 till 8. So it's still, what, that 7 hours? So 1 less hour, but in terms of potentially you could class training as work, and obviously content creation as work, things like that. So ultimately I'll probably do, I'd say I work, if you include like messaging clients and things, I'm almost always working. If you include like putting my stories on my session on Instagram as work, then I'm almost always working. But it's good, I enjoy it. So yeah, 5 o'clock is my evening shift. So I go to work either with my one-to-one clients or online. Generally I have online clients from 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening till 8. 8 o'clock, I finish my PM work. 8:30 will be meal 5, so the final meal. Same on training day or non-training day, it'll be, you know, meal 5. It's either pre-bed meal, and then my PM supplements, so my evening supplements as well. And then 9 o'clock, it'll be time for me to shower, and like my pre-bed routine. So depending on what time I've got home, I'll put my blue light blocking glasses on as soon as I get home. 9 o'clock, it'll be a hot shower, making sure that everywhere's dark and sort of ready to get to bed and quite cold and the heating's not on then. 9:30, I'll make sure I'm in bed for 9:30, and then 10 o'clock, I'll make sure I'm asleep by 10 o'clock. And then I get my 8 hours, and then I repeat it all again. So that is my sort of standard daily routine. And as much as that might seem like stupidly regimented, for me, I kind of have to have it like that, otherwise I'll struggle to stay productive, and I sort of fall off the track if I don't have a routine. I'm very sort of fixed on my routine. If I don't have it, then I almost panic. Like if I have a client cancellation, I panic because I have an extra hour and I'm like, oh my god, which is stupid. Anyway, let's go to the kitchen. So I had a delivery come today from Insight Sup, so I'm going to show you what I've got. I've already relatively opened it and forgot to film, so I've pretended I've not opened it, and now I'm going to pretend to open it. Oh, so this is what I've got. I've got a little taster, Recover Pomsicle from Foresight. So they give you a nice little note, which is nice of them, like a handwritten note. But basically I've got MV Pre 2.0, as I always get. So this is my sort of go-to pre-workout. I'm not even in frame. This is my go-to pre-workout, Jungle Juice. I've never had that flavour. And my sort of favourite flavour that I've had is the Candy Necklace, I think it's called. And that's actually really nice. I've never had this, so I'm going to try this today. And then I've also got the new Nova Neuro Pump, which is a new one. I've got that in Sour Apple Punch. I generally get Komodo Pump. I actually really like Komodo Pump, especially in the Peach Pumps flavour. It's amazing. But I wanted to try this out with it being a new one, so I'll let you know how that is. And then I also got the NutriBio EAA Pure, which is just a relatively cheapish one out of the EAAs, which still has a good complex of EAAs and a nice 3 gram leucine threshold for 1 scoop, which is what I aim for. 3 grams of leucine worth in the intra-workout. So that'll go in intra-workout, and they will be together as a pre-workout for today. Right, so today I am on the way to Birmingham. So I'm training with Tim Stewart Fitness. I'm sure he's been on the channel before. I'll put his channel in the description box, so make sure you go and subscribe to Tim, follow on Instagram. He's got a lot of knowledge and sort of provides a lot of good content on his Instagram and through his YouTube. So definitely someone worth watching. I think we're potentially training with Jermaine as well. So I'll put Jermaine's channel down there as well. So yeah, Ultimate Fitness in Birmingham we'll be training at. We're hitting push. I haven't trained with Tim for a while. I haven't seen him for a while. Last time I trained with him I'll have been over 25 pounds lighter and a lot weaker. So strength has gone sort of through the roof in the last few months since I started up with AJ. So if anyone who watches didn't know or doesn't follow me on Instagram, I am prepping for a show or shows next year. So I will be competing in the BMBF and the UK DFBA, so Natural Bodybuilding Federations. I will be a junior in the UK DFBA. I'll be a novice in the BMBF because the BMBF is under 23 for junior, whereas the UK DFBA is 23 and under, and I'll be 23. So yeah, I'm under sort of AJ's wing, AJ Morris. If you don't know who that is, definitely go check him out. And I've gained a decent amount of weight and a lot of strength since I've been sort of had that accountability of a coach. So yeah, it'll be good to train with Tim, good to train with Jermaine. Nice to see them. We're going for food after as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film the session and I'll provide like a commentary as well. So like I said, in this series what I'm going to aim to do is like a weekly video. I'll at least go over one session. I'll go over my check-in, how I'm looking. I'll go over like supplementation, things like that, like I've said. So this will be the session of this video, and I'm currently getting into a massive queue of traffic on the way, which is not ideal. But I'm gonna try the pre-workout. So the MV Pre in Jungle Juice and the Nova Neuro Pump in the Sour Apple Punch is, oh, falling. And the shaker is from the Protein Works, link in description. So let's see how it is. Oh my, that's very, very nice. The hard thing is, when you obviously mix a pump product with a stim product, you don't know, if you love the flavour, you don't know whether it's one of them that you love or it's both of them together. But that's very, very nice. I'll have to try them on their own to decide which it is. I think, to be fair, I think it's the Nova Pump, because it's quite a strong sour apple taste and it's very, very good. So I definitely recommend that because it tastes lovely, and we'll see how it affects my session. To be fair, I'm not one of those who's like, oh my god, I'm off my face on pre-workout. I don't get affected a lot. Like, I have like 2 scoops of both and I'm okay. And it's like, for some people that's like ridiculous. For me, I seem to manage okay. So yeah, anyway, next clip will be the session. Enjoy. Right then guys, so I'm just going to run through the session. So it was push at Ultimate Fitness with Tim and Jermaine. Jermaine had to leave early for work, but he was there for half the session or so. So started off with the clavicular fly. So basically cuffs on the upper arm, driving the humerus across the body and almost up towards the forehead, trying to target those clavicular fibres which run from low to high across the upper part of the chest. In terms of the cuffs, I would definitely recommend trying them if you haven't before. I like them, and on the upper arm it does really take away any internal joint stress, and it sort of takes away any focus of the hands. So, you know, your primary focus is humerus across the chest, which is that horizontal flexion component, which is going to contract the chest. So if you're finishing here with your hands in versus your elbows in, you're not actually doing that. So if you think the cuffs are on the upper arm, so you focus on that, you drive the elbows up and across. So yeah, we had a few sets on that, a couple of sets, a couple of heavy sets and a lighter set. Then we moved on to the main compound for the session, which was the hammer strength incline press, which is actually one movement that I've not done before. So I've never had the luxury of having this in a gym that I've trained in. It was actually pretty nice. It took a little while to get used to in terms of like the seat height and everything. So again, you know, if you're on a new machine or if you're in a new gym, take your time, play around with the machine, take plenty of warm-up sets to make sure that you feel ready to go for your top set. So top set here, I was actually quite happy with it. 4 plates per side for 7 reps. Obviously Tim is stupidly strong. He's pressing 5 plates for I think the same reps, 6-7 reps. So Tim is very strong, but it's good, you know, training with someone that is stronger than you to motivate you to push further and get stronger and get better is always a plus. So again, I recommend doing that. If you can find someone who can push you through your sessions and doesn't just sort of annoy you while you're training, and you know, actually add to your session, then I would recommend having a training partner. If someone's not really adding to anything, then maybe not. So yeah, I had a heavy set and a back off on that, and then we jumped on the Smith, so a low incline on the Smith. This was Tim's top set again, like I say, strong 3.5 plates. Mine was 2.5 plates, and then a back off on 2 plates. I'm not a massive fan of the Smith. Like, I don't have it in any of my programming, so when I do have it in, it feels a bit odd because I'm just not used to it. Like, I'm enjoying a lot of dumbbell work at the minute because I train at Dynamite and it's just basics. But I'm enjoying the dumbbell stuff. So when I'm training, you know, this session felt a little bit odd because it was, you know, all pretty much machine dominant. So it felt a bit strange, but it felt fine. The Smith was fine. The one at Dynamite's not great. It's a bit annoying, so that's hence why I don't really have it in. Then we moved on to a costal fly. So basically the opposite of what we did at the start. Bench is set a little bit higher, and what we're doing is we're focusing on driving straight down. Okay, so rather than focusing on trying to hit the fibres that run from low to high, we're trying to hit the lower chest, the costal fibres that run from high to low. So we're, you know, going in that same movement pattern. Again, the cuffs are on the upper arm. Again, my focus is solely elbows in, punching those elbows in. I like a little bit of elbow flexion as I come back up. It just helps me feel a little bit sort of smoother on the joint. I can still get a great stretch on the chest, allowing the elbows to flex versus sort of strict flies, and I can use more load with almost like a press kind of fly. But yeah, again, focus on humerus across, and don't worry if the scapula protracts slightly. So a little bit of protraction coming forward at the end of the rep is fine to really help get the pec fully short. You'd struggle to get those costal fibres fully short by keeping the scapular pin back. Allowing that little bit is fine. And obviously it'll shift a tiny bit of focus to your front delt, but primarily we're hitting those costal fibres and just allowing it to get shorter. So again, we had 3 sets on that, a couple of heavies and a light set. Then we went on to the D-handle push down. So we sort of missed, we moved these 2 orders around. We just forgot to do the lying lateral raise. So we swapped the lying lateral raise with this and just put the lateral raise after. This is quite nice with the D handles. It just allows your wrist to be a little bit freer, and again, less internal joint stress. So we had 2 sets, 2 heavy sets, one of like 8 to 10, one of 10 to 12, and then we did a drop set, or like a triple drop set at the end. So you can see what I'm doing here is basically hit failure, which we're aiming for about 12 to 15, then I've gone 3 pins up. So that would be 15 kg lighter, because they're in 5 kg increments. Then I'm going again to failure. Don't expect to get many on these second 2 rounds, especially if you're only like dropping it by a few increments. If you drop it by a lot more, then yeah, you'd get more reps. But just dropping it by a few, and it's like ridiculous, you can get like 5, 6 and it's lighter, and then go again for the final round. So similar to like how you would perform a rest pause set, but instead on this we're dropping the weight rather than keeping the load the same, and there's no real rest in between. So a rest pause set would be, you know, 3 rounds like this with 5 deep breaths or 15 seconds in between, but going again on the same load. Whereas with this, we're going straight in and just reducing the load. But in terms of like the pump and the efficiency of that is really, really good. So I wouldn't recommend doing that on everything, but movements towards the end of your session is definitely worth it, especially if sort of you're running out of time, and if you just want to, you know, create a lot of blood flow into the muscle. I definitely recommend doing things like that: drop sets, triple drop sets, supersetting things. They're all quite good sort of intensity methods to use, rather than the standard top set, back off set, which generally would be like your heavier compounds that are going to take a lot more out of you. So this was supposed to be beforehand, like I said, so we did just move it afterwards. So the lying lateral raise. So with this one, in terms of how the setup is and in terms of the cables, this is training more in the shortened range. So this is the hardest part when I'm at the top point. So when I'm up here, that's my hardest part of the movement. Okay, so that's the sort of the shortened range of the movement, which is what we're training through primarily. And then what we're doing is we're standing up and going straight into partials, and then we're prioritising the lengthened range. So now it's hard in the lengthened range. It's almost, well, it's impossible to even get to that shortened range. So we're taxing out the shortened range, so we can't get any more full reps, and then we're going into the lengthened range. And that was it. We did a little bit more triceps, but that was pretty much it. And then we went for sushi afterwards, which was actually really nice. Kyoto, I think it was called. It was like 22 quid, all you can eat. It was kind of all you can eat. And I weighed in like 3 pounds heavier. I felt, you know, to be fair, I was very full from it. And then I weighed in a lot heavier. So, in terms of how I'm looking, I will relay some photos on the screen of this week's check-in. So, like I said, I weighed in 3 pounds heavier, so I'm a little bit more watery this week in comparison to previous weeks, but I'm still happy with how I'm looking. I'm 195/196 pounds this week in terms of the weekly average, even with that high 198. So no real change on the last week or 2 weeks, but the heaviest I've ever been by 5-6 pounds. Heaviest I've been previous to this was 190, and I was in a lot worse condition. I felt very bloated. I didn't like how I looked back then. Like, this was before I went to Egypt. I wasn't happy with how I looked at all. I felt like a fat bear, and I've never been like that. Like, I've always been lean. So to get to this level and be in better condition at 5-6 pounds heavier is a good sign that there's been more tissue added. In terms of posing, I need to get better, but that will come with practice. So I need to, you know, make sure that I'm focusing on practicing at least, you know, every other day in terms of a couple of rounds in the evening, or, you know, I'm definitely getting 1 round in, obviously, when I'm sending my check-in photos, but I need to make sure that I'm doing it more than that. And then hopefully I will get soon enough some dates released for the competitions that I'll be doing next year, and then I can sort of plan a date, plan and work back from there in terms of dieting down. AJ thinks we'll need to lose 40 pounds plus, which I would say, yeah, exactly the same. The sort of most shredded I've been, or the leanest I've been in recent times, was 72 kilos, which is about 156 pounds. So if I, like, let's say at the end of this off season, I'll be about 200 pounds. I want to get to 200 pounds. So then if I drop 40 from there, I'm what, 160, and I'll have to go further than that, I think, if I'm honest. I think I'll be between 150 and 160, somewhere in there. But we'll have to see, and, you know, I might need more than that, I might not need as much. Depends how well I hold on to muscle, how well the fat comes off. So yeah, we shall see. But that's how I'm looking. So yeah, I think I'll leave the video there. Hopefully you enjoyed episode 1 of the series. I will look to do this and release them every Sunday night. It'll be, you know, similar format. And then yeah, hopefully I'll get, you know, a decent amount of people following along and seeing the journey up and towards competing next year. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please give it a like, please hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.